It's just happening, isn't it? It is just happening. It is all coming up perfectly for Mikel Arteta. Everything that he hoped would happen is happening. Everything that Mikel Arteta wanted to happen this season is coming to fruition. All of the moves, all of the manoeuvres, everything that they were working towards, it is all happening exactly as he was dreaming. They kept a clean sheet today, which is so important, and then they won. And why did they win? If you explore exactly why Arsenal won the game today, there is one very obvious reason. The answer is Eberechi Eze. Eberechi Eze won the game for Arsenal. Eberechi Eze did exactly what he was supposed to do. The reason that you sign Eberechi Eze is for precisely this sort of fixture. This is the exact reason that you need a player like Eze within your squad. This is the exact reason why you start a player like Eberechi Eze. The kind of player that can pull something out the bag. The kind of player who knows how to unlock a stubborn defence. When you want to win the league, what you do is you go out and you sign a player that can help you do that. The kind of player that can help you do that is the kind of player that was ripping it up at Crystal Palace, guiding Crystal Palace to their first ever piece of silverware. Somebody who is proven, ready, an England international, 27 years old, ready to be launched onto the top tier scene. And that is why Arsenal are cruising towards the Premier League title. Do you know how painful it is for me to say those words? Arsenal are cruising towards the Premier League title because their manager is excellent and their board backed him in the perfect way. When we need to sign players, we're signing ridiculous players that we do not need. When Arsenal need to sign players, what do? They look at their squad, they see where there is a weakness, they see where things didn't necessarily go their way, they see where they need to elevate, they see where they need to improve, and they go out and they sign a player like Eberechi Eze. He was brought in to do exactly what he did today. Last season, why didn't Arsenal win the league? It had nothing to do with how they got on against the very best. It had nothing to do with the mini league, you know, the mini league at the top of the league, the Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool league, the mini league. That, generally speaking, if you win the mini league that you are competing in, you win it. You win what you want. If you're potentially going to go down, if you win your mini league, you potentially survive. It really is that simple, football. If you beat those around you, you probably do all right. Arsenal did well in those games, but they didn't win the league. Why? Because they didn't have enough creativity. They didn't have enough of a spark. They didn't have enough individual brilliance to get them over the line in those sorts of games. Think about where they dropped points last year. They dropped points to Bournemouth. Remember when Saliba got sent off? Where else did they drop points last year? They dropped points to Fulham. They dropped points to Brighton. They dropped points to West Ham. Everton. These are the kind of games where you need somebody to pull it out the bag for you, where you need somebody to find a way and do something pretty improbable. And that is exactly what they have got with Eberechi Eze. And that is why now they are at the top of the league. It's just basically unstoppable. And that is why you sign a player like Eberechi Eze. It really is so simple. They've bought a player who is capable of doing that, and he did it today, and what a goal it was. What a goal, what a perfect day for Arsenal, what a perfect weekend for Arsenal. Hateful, painful. But we're all going to have to start rationalising the prospect of Arsenal winning the league because it is actually happening. It really does feel like it is happening. The first Super Chat of the day has landed and it belongs to Charlie Knight. Charlie Knight says, Arsenal win, great, and VDV got me 18 points on FPL. Don't care. All due respect, your FPL team, Fantasy League, right? I don't care, mate. I've got bigger problems because your Fantasy League can win for all I care. Your real team cannot. And sadly, I have to live in the reality where the real team that you support is going to win. And that is something that really, really does pain me. Because we have managed to insulate ourselves from the world where Arsenal win the league. We have managed to do that for over 2 decades. And now it is looking like they are the best team in the country. They have all the right ingredients. They have the perfect amount of stability at the back, stinginess at the back, and mesmerising, unbelievable brilliance at the front. Like a karate-kicked goal. It was a wonderful, wonderful goal. It was a wonderful goal capable of winning any game, well worthy of winning a game of this magnitude. And the fact that they are now winning games in what could be considered a fairly ugly way. Like Arsenal didn't play particularly well today. In fairness, Eberechi Eze didn't play particularly well today. But he does that. A moment, a spark, unpredictable, brilliant. And that is why they are coasting for the title. Crystal Palace are a good side. Like I heard Glasner, I was reading Glasner's interview after the game, and he said something along the lines of, I thought we were brilliant for 25 minutes, the final 25 minutes of the game. Basically, after the restart, we weren't great. Then we were brilliant. We really asked loads of questions of Arsenal. And that's probably true. But Arsenal were resolute. They are so miserly at the back. They are so solid in the middle. They are so compact. Zubimendi and Rice are excellent. The centre-halves give you nothing. The keeper, brilliant. Calafiori, fantastic. And they don't have to be good. They don't have to be brilliant every week. When you win a league, it is so important that you are capable of winning ugly. It's so important that you are capable of winning 1-0. And you know this weird thing that we like to mock now, it is so incorrect. Have you noticed this? We could say, 1-0 to the Arsenal. If I say 1-0 to the Arsenal, I say it as a compliment. Whereas I think nowadays, in this modern interpretation of football, you can say it in a negative way. Oh, 1-0 to the Arsenal, was it? Another goal from set pieces, was it? Oh, set piece FC, is it? Are you an idiot? Are you a moron? Are you thick in the head? Do you have absolutely no understanding of how football works? 1-0 to the Arsenal is one of the biggest compliments you can give any team. Chelsea smashed someone 1-0, I'm over the moon. If you can go anywhere in the league and win 1-0, you can win any trophy. Because do you know what you're not going to do? You're probably not going to win 5-0 at the Nou Camp. But you know what you can do? You can win 1-0. If you have the ability of grinding out 1-0 wins, if you have the ability of finding a win when you don't deserve it, if you have the ability of keeping clean sheets against any attack, anything is possible. So 1-0 to the Arsenal is something to be commended, not sneered at. Set piece FC. I would love Chelsea to be a set-piece team. I would love us to be threatening in both boxes. I would love us to have the quality that Arsenal have from those set-pieces. Like the goal today was from a set-piece. Not directly from a set-piece, but it was a second ball off the back of a set-piece. It is a good, positive thing. I really don't understand. How anyone can be sneery about it. I just really don't. It is... All of these things that are used in some sort of sneery way make absolutely no sense to me. Let me dive into the chat. Can I ask you, by the way, if you are watching this stream, please give it a like. Really helps me out. The dream is to get to 1,000 likes by the end of this stream. And do you know who told me to do that? Thogden. Thogden told me that you should always set a very high like target. He knows what he's talking about. If anyone is watching this and hasn't clicked like, please do me a favour and click like. It would really, really help me out. Thank you very much. Ultimately, the weekend belongs to Arsenal. I was going to say the day belongs to Arsenal. Excuse me. Which, of course, it does. But actually, the weekend belongs to Arsenal, doesn't it? Like, they were so good. They got exactly what they wanted from the game. They did it in a very professional way. They did it off the back of winning in Europe, beating an Atletico Madrid team. Quite often, when you're playing your domestic fixture off the back of a fixture like an intense European one, you're potentially going to drop points. When you have European exploits, you are potentially going to suffer domestically. Arsenal win 4-0, and then what do? They effectively limp to a 1-0 win. I don't mean that in a derogatory, if anything, I mean it in a complimentary way. But they weren't particularly good today. But they were better than Palace, and that's all that matters. They were better than Palace, and that's all that matters. And today is the perfect example of why you go and sign Eze. I mean, Xavi Simons at one point was going, Tottenham fans were trying to tell me that it didn't matter that Eze wasn't going there because Simons is better. All right. And other people at the various points have been telling me that Chelsea didn't need Eberechi Eze. And you're like, you're so dumb. If we wanted to win the league, you know what we would have done? We would have sold Noni Madueke to Arsenal, and with that money, we would have gone and we would have bought Eberechi Eze. Not Garnacho, not Jamie Gittins, not Buonanotte. We would have gone and we would have got Madueke, we would have gone and we would have got Donnarumma, we would have gone and we would have got Mark Gahey, and then maybe we would be a decent team worthy of conversation, worthy of discussion. Sadly, we are not. Another super chat has landed. This one is from Amar. What's happening, sir? Amar says, Havertz, Odegaard, Jesus and Madueke still to come back for the December fixtures. I just hope they won't upset the current cohesion. Looking at Jesus. No, I don't think there is any issue with that. The games are going to come thick and fast, Amar. Also, if Arsenal's season goes as they hope it will, Arsenal are going to play in excess of 60 games. You're going to need the players that you mentioned. You're going to need the rotation. You're going to need to rely on players like Kai Havertz. You're going to need to rely on players like Martin Odegaard. Having competition like that coming back is brilliant. It's like a new signing. Eberechi Eze scores today. If Martin Odegaard wants to displace him from that number 10 position, Martin Odegaard wants to get back into the team, what does he have to do? He has to be better than Eze. Then if Eze wants to keep his place in the team, what does Eze have to do? Eze have to be better than Odegaard. And that is how you keep getting better. You keep driving each other on. You keep pushing each other to the maximum, and the tide rises entirely. That is how you get better. There are certain players, however, I just don't think they will feature now. I think Trossard's a wicked player, Bukayo Saka is undroppable. I don't know how often Madueke will feature, but it's a great squad depth for you to have. Gabriel Jesus. I'm not sure about Gyökeres. Is that a negative? Do we want to discuss that, Gyökeres? I'm not sure. I think Kai Havertz will play the big games. But Gyökeres is there as a battering ram to score a different kind of goal. You know, the uglier goal. The goal that Arsenal don't really want to score. Eberechi Eze can score the fantastic Daniel-son Mr. Miyagi karate kick on the edge of the box. And then do you know what Gyökeres can do? He can be a battering ram and effectively tackle the ball into the back of the net. Find you a goal that can do both. You know? You need a bit of everything. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. This would be like saying, I have too many 50s, they don't fit in my wallet. This isn't a problem. You can't go, I have this many world-class players, how on earth are they going to get into the team that are top of the league? Yeah, mate, I have too many 50s for my wallet. Like, yeah, you don't have a problem. If that's your problem, that you have too many good players on the bench, how are they going to get into your team? Let me tell you, you do not have a problem. Also, it's important to acknowledge Mikel Arteta, a good manager. Mikel Arteta is getting it right. Mikel Arteta is doing an awful lot of things well. Having depth is the manager's responsibility to keep everyone happy, and he will do that in the way that Jose Mourinho was able to keep Joe Cole happy when he was a slightly more bit part player, in the way that he was able to keep Michael Essien happy when the midfield was compact, in the way that he could drop Michael Ballack or rest him and keep him happy. Like there are certainly players who are able to do that. Michael Essien, sorry. Like there are certainly players who are capable of doing that, so I certainly wouldn't worry. Utkarsh Singh says, not hindsight, we all knew Liverpool had gaps in the defence and the midfield. I understand they were favourites, but calling them Centurions, for me, was a worse take than the Haaland one. I mean, they're still capable of getting 102 points, isn't it? No, it was wild. Can I just tell you my logic for it? No, when I say things like that, sometimes I'm wrong, and the Haaland one is a shout where I was wrong. And obviously this is another example. For anyone that didn't know, by the way, I thought that Liverpool were going to be unstoppable this season. I thought that they were going to break records, and the reason that I thought Slot was a genius. I thought that they were already the best team in the country. They were already the champions. They were already 10 points better off than the nearest challenger. And then they went and had a window where they broke all sorts of records, breaking their own transfer record, 3 times in the same window, breaking the British transfer record twice in the same window. Like, I felt like they were going to be unstoppable. I didn't predict Mohamed Salah's drop-off. I didn't predict the Alisson injury. I didn't predict Virgil van Dijk's drop. I didn't predict it. Just to say, though, and I'm sure Arsenal fans will agree with me here, I'm not ready to write Liverpool off yet. I'm not ready to discount Liverpool from a title race. Are you? Utkarsh, are you? Amar, are you? Charlie, are you? Are you ready to actually say that Liverpool can't win the league? Because they look terrible. They look woeful. They look out of ideas. There's so much going wrong with them. And I think that I touched on it on a video this morning and a live stream last night. Liverpool are potentially on the precipice of a crisis. We established last night on this very live, and I hope you were watching, by the way. Please like this live if you are watching and you haven't yet liked it. And please do click subscribe as well, by the way. Really helps me out. Would love to welcome you into this community. Do that. Click subscribe right now, please. But what can happen is, Arne Slot is undoubtedly a brilliant manager. Mohamed Salah is undoubtedly a wonderful footballer. Virgil van Dijk is undoubtedly a brilliant defender. They can get it right. What's going wrong? I don't know. And they are in big trouble. On the live yesterday, we were discussing, are they in a crisis? And 53% of the people watching the live at the time thought that they were in a crisis. I don't know if I'm being like clever with language here, but what do you think? I don't think Liverpool are in a crisis yet. I think they're in a slump. And if they lose one more game, it becomes a crisis. It goes like this. On the journey, if the final destination of this train is crisis, the first stop is blip. The second stop is slump. The third stop is crisis. Blip, slump, crisis. Liverpool are not yet in a crisis, but they are bordering on one. But then, you know, when you see them yesterday, right? It all goes wrong. They're terrible. They look all over the place. Mamardashvili useless. Van Dijk furious with his teammates, furious with everyone. And then Salah pulls a goal out of the bag like that. Do you know what I'm looking at? And I see you all as intelligent, articulate, footballing sages. And yet 58% of you think that Liverpool are out of this title race. 58% of you think that Liverpool are out of this title race. That to me just feels bold. It feels big. 58% are out of this title race already. I'm just not there yet. I am not ready to discount the true brilliance of players like Mohamed Salah, Dom Szoboszlai, Virgil van Dijk. Alexander Isak will succeed at Liverpool. Don't get me wrong. Arsenal are now obviously favourites for the league. I have a terrible feeling that they're going to do something like amazing this season. Like, last year when I thought they were actually going to win the Champions League, there was a horrible moment where I actually believed that Arsenal were going to win the Champions League. It's a horrible feeling because I'm sure that Arsenal fans of a certain age will be able to empathise with what I'm about to say here. Arsenal fans of my age would have never known Chelsea winning the league, right? They would have never seen it. Till they're 15, 16, they would have never, ever seen it. Then, suddenly, we start winning leagues. Them and their dads would have never believed that we could become a force like that. They would have dismissed it, because it had never happened. Suddenly, we're winning league after league. We won more Premier League titles and then we've won more European Cups. Something happened last year. I had an epiphany. I had a shift in my brain where I suddenly went, Arsenal are a serious football club. Mikel Arteta is a serious manager. He has changed them from a punchline at various points, and I don't mean that in a snide way, it's true. Arsenal were all over the place. They were never going to win silverware. They went 9 years without a trophy under Wenger, and suddenly they're serious. And that is why I don't get any disrespect towards Mikel Arteta. Like, if you're an Arsenal fan, I'm sure you've seen this, right? If you have seen this, let me know. There are some devoted Arsenal. I'm not questioning them as Arsenal fans, not at all. There are some friends of mine. But there are content creators who I just don't understand it. They're so hostile to Arteta. It feels like they're waiting for him to lose. And looking from the outside in, those fans know more about their club than I could ever dream to. They speak for their fan base. They are the club, right? Football fans are the club. They're the heart of the club. They're the soul of the club. They're the blood of the club. But I don't understand how you can be an Arsenal fan and not think Arteta's done a remarkable job. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's like, if you are an Arsenal fan and you are witnessing what Mikel Arteta has done since he has taken the reins of that club, and what he has done since he's taken the reins of that club is he has steered them from joke, punchline, insignificance into a team that are capable of winning both the Premier League and the Champions League in the same season. Like, that's not even a joke. Like, it is a completely legitimate thing for me to say here. Like, I don't think this happens, by the way. I don't think this happens. But you're not insane for saying that Arsenal are going to win the Champions League and the Premier League this season. They are going to win the double this season. I don't think they will, but the point is you're not mental for saying it. Like, if I said Chelsea are going to win the Premier League and the Champions League this season, you just go, all right, this guy needs to go to Broadmoor. Get him on a first-class ticket to Broadmoor one way. Don't let him out because he's mad. That's not the case with Arsenal. If you believe that Arsenal are going to win the European Cup and the Premier League this season, fair cop to you. I don't think you will, but fair cop to you. It's a legitimate sentence. It's a fair school of thought. It is a well thought out argument. So if that is the case, how can you possibly not rate the manager? Do you know what I mean? Like, baffles me. Truly baffles me. Going back into the super chat here from Nate Bauer. Nate Bauer says, Arsenal are a boa constrictor. Teams can't score against them. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. They make life so difficult for you. They put you under so much pressure. The intensity with which they play. They ruin what you are good at. And that is a good manager. Again, coming back to Mikel Arteta. Like, I made this point earlier about Arne Slot. I was like, Arne Slot's a wicked manager. But when they got beat by Brentford were always going to be a team that employed a long ball tactic. Set pieces. Why didn't Arne Slot work out a way of stopping that? That's what you do when you're a manager. So Crystal Palace, everyone knows how they like to play. They like to get Munoz up the pitch, Tyreek Mitchell up the pitch. They like to get Mateta on the ball in the final third. So, as it's pointed out by Nate in the super chat, Arsenal are a boa constrictor. They pin their fullbacks back. Stop them. Why didn't Arne Slot stop Brentford? Why didn't he work out a way of stopping the throw-in? Like, go and stand. I'm thinking off the top of my head, right? I'm not a manager. I don't have the brain of Arne Slot. But when Stoke used to do it, I remember Chelsea would put a man, like Ashley Cole, when Stoke were like lining up a big throw-in, Ashley Cole would go and stand on the touchline to just upset the rhythm of Rory Delap. You go and you stand there. Delap's going to throw it in from here. I stand here. So that he can't follow through as wholly as he wants to. You just make it awkward, right? Then you cut off the supply. You don't give away free kicks. You don't give away throw-ins. And that is what Arteta is excellent at. And that's why I just don't understand. I just don't understand how you can not rate Arteta, because he's getting everything right. The 403 in the super chat here says, if we have 9+ point lead going into the Champions League knockout, then we win the Champions League, in my opinion. Carabao, we have the depth to play a serious 11. Domestic treble possible. Do you know what I would say? And this is going to sound like I'm not telling the truth, because obviously you know that I don't want Arsenal to succeed and I don't want Arsenal to win silverware. But can I tell you, I'm being completely truthful here. Do you know what Arsenal need to do to win silverware this year? Do you know? I'm being so serious. Do you know the best thing that could happen to Arsenal? They get beat in the League Cup. I'm being really serious. The last thing Arsenal want to do is go a long way in the League Cup. Can I tell you what I want to happen? On some level, I want Arsenal to play in the semi-final of the League Cup and lose. But I want them to play in the semi-final. I could even live with them making the final as long as they get beat. If they win it, fine. Then it's probably worth it. But the chance of you winning it are slim, right? In any trophy, the chance of you winning it are slim. The best thing that could happen, I'm being really serious, I promise. Sometimes when I talk like this, and I know that Arsenal fans are listening, I feel like you think I'm like double bluffing you. But I'm being really serious. The best thing that could happen to Arsenal Football Club this season is that they get beat in the League Cup. Let me look at the fixtures. I can't remember who they got. Who have Arsenal got in the Arsenal fixtures? EFL Brighton. Next game, right? They play Brighton in the round of 16 Wednesday night. I honestly believe that Arsenal fans should want to lose. I know it's not going to sound normal. I know you can't literally want your team to lose. It goes against the grain. Your body will never kind of allow it. But I do honestly think that for the greater good, Arsenal would be better off going out of the League Cup. I honestly believe that is the case. And the 403 in the super chat there, who has suggested, domestic treble, I think you should forget it. Mate, you've never won a European Cup, and you've gone over 2 decades without a Premier League title. One of them would be amazing. Literally one trophy this season, as long as it's one of those two, would be amazing. And you're capable of winning both. Launch yourself out of the League Cup. Do what? Do you remember when Arsene Wenger was playing like Cesc Fabregas, Fran Moreda, David Bentley? He was playing like actual kids. Do you remember? When Arsene Wenger, and at the time I didn't think it was right, but I was young and I didn't necessarily kind of understand. I used to think it was quite disrespectful. I was like, what are you doing? Win the trophy. But they were going for Premier League titles, man. They were going for Premier League titles and they didn't have the squad to compete. I honestly believe that the best thing that could happen to Arsenal is that they get beat 3-0. No, you don't want to get battered at home. You don't want to get battered at home, but you do want to lose. Lose on penalties. Play the kids. Let the kids do really well and lose on penalties. That's the best thing that could happen to Arsenal. I honestly believe that going out of it would be better for them. And I will tell you the total truth here. I want Arsenal to progress in the League Cup. I think it is detrimental to their ambitions. I think it is detrimental to what they are trying to achieve. Arsenal, their opportunity to win the Premier League title is totally enhanced by losing on Wednesday night against Brighton. Arsenal's chances of winning the European Cup, going to Budapest in only a few months' time, really, going to Budapest in a few months' time, lifting the European Cup aloft for the first time ever, doing it for the likes of Charlie George and Herbert Chapman and Arsene Wenger and Jules Graham, whatever, right? Making that sort of history is genuinely enhanced by getting bashed up by Brighton. I swear it. I swear that is a truthful, totally truthful statement. Thank you for your super chat there, the 403. Let me know what you think about that, by the way. Let me dive into the chat and see what everyone's saying. Can I ask you a massive favour, by the way? If you are watching this channel and you haven't subscribed, please consider clicking subscribe. I'd love to welcome you into this community. I love going live. I love having these conversations. It really does help me out. Go on, click subscribe right now. Please do so. Massively helps me. Cormac in the super chat here says, Rory, the tribalism of your chat is phenomenal. So many arguments going on down here. You got to love it. Yeah, mate, I love, that's what I was just talking about, right? I love this community. I love what we're building here. I love everybody involved. And I love going live like this. Like, when I'm watching football, all I think is I want to come and have a chat, see what you're all saying. So I do massively agree with you, Cormac. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's the best community in the world, man. I love it. I love it so much. Basically, this is where I chat to people. I don't reply to anyone on social media, ever. This is where it's at. Ryan in Jacksonville says, Arteta unlocks set pieces due to team setting up a low block for 90 minutes. Slot chooses to complain instead of tactically find a solution. Yeah, look, do you know what? I actually kind of know what you mean about Arteta finding the set pieces for a particular reason. But I don't necessarily think even if that's right, it's not the only reason. Set pieces are a huge part of football. Why are people so dumb? Why do people genuinely want to sneer at Arsenal for being good at set pieces. I've heard people say this, and they say it as an insult. Sounds like a compliment, but they're saying it as an insult. Oh yeah, set piece FC, are you? Yes, we are, you fool. Yes, we are set piece FC. That is why we're going to win the league. Yeah, set piece FC. We're wicked. When Chelsea were brilliant, Ricardo Carvalho would be on the keeper, John Terry scores a header. Fantastic. Ricardo Carvalho on the keeper, Terry flicks it on, Drogba scores a header at the back post. Fantastic. We won the league, you morons. Why would anyone look at Arsenal scoring? They scored from a set piece today, by the way. They're not always ugly. That the craft and the beauty and the guile and the vision of Eberechi Eze to score a Paolo Di Canio-like bang bang. Oh, so ugly. You set piece. Well, yeah, they got set piece. They won a set piece. There was a foul and they won it. Ball was put into the box perfectly. They've won the second ball. They've won the knockdown. Bang, goal. 3 points. Thank you very much. And then some actual dope on Twitter goes, oh, they're rubbish. Set piece FC. Like, how thick are you? How thick can you possibly be to think that that's a bad way of winning games of football? Like the comment there from Ryan in Jacksonville saying that his team have perfected set pieces because of the low block. I mean, maybe to a degree. Maybe it was a reaction to the low block. But it's just a reaction to football. Being a good manager means that you're good at set pieces. Being a bad manager means you're bad at set pieces. Do you remember when Ange Postecoglou told us that he didn't care about set pieces? And then people had to go at me for being too hostile to Postecoglou. I called Postecoglou a few things, and people really had to go at me. They're like, what about his mental health? I was like, look, he's a footballer. It's a different world, right? It's different. He's just earned 10 million quid. I'm allowed to be tribal here. I'm allowed to be aggressive. I'm allowed to be aggressive in my language. People were having a go at me. Some of you will think I'm wrong. I don't think I was, but fine. If I owe an apology, fine. In fact, I don't owe an apology. He's a bozo. He is a bozo. I don't care about set pieces. That's why you're sacked. Mikel Arteta employs a set piece coach, focuses on set piece after set piece, manoeuvres various ways of perfecting a set piece, constantly thinking about ways of improving their set pieces. What do we do if we get a free kick from here in this minute? What do we do if we get a throw in from here? What do we do if we... That's why they're top of the league. Do you see the difference? I don't care about set pieces, sacked. I do care about set pieces, top of the league. So this is another example where Arteta is simply getting it right. It's another example to prove quite how good a manager Mikel Arteta is. And I just don't understand it. Another super chat has landed here from Mr. Ty Box 123, who says Arteta is a genius. Best thing since Wenger. Those fans that think otherwise are deluded, negative idiots. It was always planned to win it this year, and we will probably dominate for you. Okay, let's break down what you said there. So excellent points made there by Mr. Tybox. I was with you for about the first half of the super chat, and you've lost me towards the end. Arteta is a genius. Yeah, certainly doing genius-like things at the moment. Yeah, absolutely. I believe that a genius is kind of born over a longer period of time. Wenger is a genius. Mourinho is a genius. I don't think Slot yet can be like labelled a genius indefinitely. Genius-like moments. Arteta genius-like moments. But I'm with you on that. Best thing since Wenger, certainly the best thing that you've had since Wenger. The fans that think otherwise. Do you know, I do find it funny. Does anyone have any light to shed on this? There are truly devoted Arsenal fans who want the best for their club. Arsenal fans who are content creators, do similar things to me, who seem to be quite hostile to Mikel Arteta. And I just can't get my head around it. I just can't work it out. Like, I've just been, by the way, in North London. I've been in Highbury and Islington today. Train that I was on was rocking to Mikel Arteta's song. We go Super Mikel Arteta, right? That's what the train. People on the trains banging the tube. Like, I'm on the tube. I've got my hood up. I'm keeping a very low profile. I'm praying that someone doesn't beat me up. And I have to be on the train from Highbury and Islington to King's Cross. Sitting there, please leave me alone, please leave me alone, please leave me alone. The train is rocking. We go Super Mikel Arteta. I'm like, okay. So this is the closest thing I ever want to experience. But it's also the closest thing that I am going to experience to like an Arsenal home atmosphere, home day atmosphere. And from my experience today at the game, in theory, with match-going fans, let's call it that, I was with thousands of fans on the tube that had been at the game. To a man, ask any man on that train, any woman on that train, any dog on that train, ask them all, they all loved Arteta. And then I go on Twitter straight after the game, and you're like, there's clips of people who, they're not necessarily today, but clips of people speaking fairly recently, not sure about Arteta, quite vile in the language about Arteta. And it just makes literally no sense. I just can't get my head around it. But I do agree. I do agree with a lot of what you said. The only thing that I can't agree with you on, Mr. Tie Box, you said that it was always planned that they win it this year. That's not true. That's not true. Arteta was doing a remarkable job, and you will probably win it this year. But you should have won it last year. And you were actually the best team in the country the year before. The year that Villa beat you at the Emirates, you were the best team in the country. Do you remember Ben White off the back of his break to Dubai? You all went to Dubai. Do you remember? Ben White came back all tanned and he was like the best player in the league. Mental. You were the best team in the country that year and you should have won it. And you lost to Villa, which cost you. And so I don't agree that it was always about this year. You know, in the way Gareth Southgate tried to pretend that various tournaments didn't matter and it was always about Qatar. Like, hang on a minute, mate. We got Russia to worry about. We had a home tournament to worry about. It wasn't always about Qatar. I don't think that you can do a Gareth Southgate, Mr. Tie Box, and say that it was always about this year. Arsenal are doing brilliantly, and I'm saying how highly I rate Mikel Arteta. But it isn't only always about this year. Thank you for your chat, though. Great insight. Chris Blake in the Super Chat here says, I'm not saying that Tottenham are going to win the league, but why are we not in the conversation? What? Tottenham winning the league? But why are we not in the conversation when Liverpool and City are? We've won something as recently. This has got to be a joke. Are you crazy? Tottenham winning the league. The reason that we're talking about City winning the league is because, I don't think City can win it, by the way, but the reason that people are talking about City potentially winning the league is primarily because they have a remarkable manager. They probably have the best manager in the world. That's why they can win the league. The reason people are talking about Liverpool is because you extend the courtesy to the existing champions. The reason that the reason that you aren't talking about Tottenham winning the league is because they basically can't. It's pretty much impossible. Tottenham are not going to win the league. Like they just do not. They're not in this conversation at all. Like Tottenham haven't won the league for decades. Like you're looking at literal decades since Tottenham won the league. Like Tottenham won the league the year they did the double the first time, didn't they? That's the last time they've won the league. Like they've won the league twice. The reason we're not talking about Tottenham winning the league is because Arsenal have won the league at Tottenham more often than Tottenham. Arsenal have won the league at Tottenham more often than Tottenham. Arsenal won the league at White Hart Lane twice. Tottenham won the league at White Hart Lane once. Tottenham aren't in this. Like, you're looking at, like, Danny Blanchflower. That's how long ago it was that Tottenham won the league. You're looking at, like, you know all that, when the year ends in one. That is the last time that Tottenham won the league. Like, 1961, I think. Like, come on. Like, Tottenham have won what? Two League Cups and the Europa League since 1991. Since 1991, Tottenham have won 2 League Cups and a Europa League. Of course you're not winning the league. What on earth are we doing here? Chris, I love a bit of tribalism. I love a bit of blind loyalty. But you've put yourself in the same bracket as Liverpool and Tottenham, when basically Liverpool and Man City are not comparable to Tottenham. You have more in common with Nottingham Forest than you do Liverpool and Man City. You have more in common with Burnley than you do Liverpool and Man City. You're not winning the league, mate. Like Chelsea have more chance of winning the league than Tottenham, and we're not winning the league. So no. The White Glove PC is in the Super Chat and has said, the negativity from our fan base stems from the rigid lack of attacking football that we employ. Tough to watch. Working now, but goals dried up last season. It won't dry up this season. That's why you've signed the players that you've signed. And also, this is interesting from the White Glove there. Are Arsenal not a fan base? Are Arsenal not a club that almost rate 1-0 to the Arsenal? Like when that song was born in Paris in 1994, was it not all about 1-0 to the Arsenal? George Graham, I saw him at the game today. The camera panned to George Graham. It's like nice to see him still going, man. He played for Chelsea. He played for Chelsea. When Arsenal, as an institution, when I think about them, I feel like as a fan base, they're the kind of fan base that would appreciate a 1-0 team, a 1-0 to the Arsenal team. So I'm not sure where it all comes from. The negativity from our fan base stems from the rigid lack of attacking options. Yeah, maybe that was true last year. But honestly, some of the people that I've seen talking about Arteta that are Arsenal fans, it's more poisonous than that. It isn't a criticism of tactics. there seems to be like a fundamental dislike of Arteta. Not from many. I told you, my experience today. I was with match-going Arsenal fans today. Far too many of them. And I thought I was going to get beaten up. You should see me in disguise. I have to like hood up, thing up, and just like that. I'm like, I'm one stop. I have to get to King's Cross from Highbury and Islington. I'm like, please don't beat me up. Please don't recognise me. Please don't beat me up. Please. But like I say, the song that was being sung passionately from every man, woman and dog on a train was We've Got That Super Mick Arteta song. So, yeah, it really doesn't make sense to me. Ben Woolley in the super chat here says, if their form carries on, surely we have to start putting Gabriel and Saliba in the discussion of one of the best centre-back partnerships of all time. Yeah, Ben, we can do it when it has been a partnership for a time. At the moment, no, it's not. At the moment, it doesn't exist. At the moment, it doesn't exist as a, like, where does it compare to Terry and Carvalho? Where does it compare to Rio and Vidic? Where does it compare to Adams and Bold? It's not part of that yet. It's just not. And I understand what you're saying. If it continues, if you and I, Ben, are sitting here in 6 years' time, Arsenal have won 3 league titles and the European Cup, and Saliba and Gabriel are still doing the business, then we can have a conversation about it. Absolutely. But I am afraid that it isn't a thing yet. We just can't have that conversation yet. Gabriel is a phenomenal footballer. I rate him so highly. I actually rate him. I like him more than I like Saliba in terms of the qualities of the footballer. You know what I want from a centre half? I want a threat in both boxes, and I think Gabriel is a bigger threat in both boxes. I also want hate. I want hate. I want needle. I want elbows. I want aggression. I want an element. You're not going to like this, and I'm going to apologise immediately. I want an element of cheating. I want you to win at all costs as a centre half, in the way that Ricardo Carvalho would. Watch a goal where Chelsea scored against Barcelona. Victor Valdez comes out to get the ball. Ricardo Carvalho just fouls him. John Terry scores. Gabriel is the fouler, isn't he? Gabriel fouls Victor Valdez. And I love Ricardo Carvalho, and I love players that are prepared to do that. So I think that overall, over those two best players, I love the edge of a Gabriel. I love the Snyder qualities of a Gabriel. All of these words that I'm using, they have negative connotations, but I'm using them in a positive way. Gabriel is a win-at-all-costs kind of footballer. Gabriel will cheat his way to victories, and you need players like that in your team. It's not what people want to hear, but it is completely and utterly true. So, yes, they are brilliant players, Ben, and if they continue in this form, we will discuss them, but not quite yet. They aren't ready for this conversation yet. By the way, we have hit 700 likes on this stream. There is a chance that we could hit 1,000 likes before it ends. If anyone is watching and hasn't liked the stream, please like it. Give it some hype points. No one knows what they do, but please do it anyway. It would really help me out. Gus Nado in the Super Chat here has asked, do Manchester United have a slim chance? They do. They have a really slim chance. They have 2 chances of winning the league. They have slim and none. And slim just left town. They're the chances that Man United have of winning the league. Slim and none, and Slim's gone on holiday. That is the chance that they have. No, Gus, to be totally frank with you, there is absolutely no chance that Manchester United win the league. Like, literally no chance. And it is a wild thing to even bring up. But I rate it. I rate it so highly. Beat Brighton and suddenly go mad and talk about winning the league. That is football, my friend, and I thoroughly appreciate you getting involved. In terms of what this all means, though, Arsenal couldn't have had a better weekend, could they? It just couldn't have gone better for Arsenal. To watch Man City lose, it limped to a defeat as well. They didn't really offer much. Haaland had a goal disallowed, didn't he, where he looked like he got injured, but they didn't offer anything. And Liverpool obviously got well beaten by Brentford. That's the thing. You know, the Brentford defeat for Liverpool, the best thing about it for Arsenal, like, you know how I said the best thing about the best thing about Arsenal's result was the fact that it was 1-0. Like, it's almost more impressive. It's almost better for an Arsenal fan that it was 1-0, an Eze goal, rather than 6-0 and everyone scores. Honestly, it's more pure. It's more likely to win you a title. It's more repeatable. And the best thing about, from an Arsenal perspective, the best thing about the Liverpool result, Liverpool fans will admit this, I know they will. They were well beaten. Like, you know, if I say Brentford won 3-2 against Liverpool, the thing that, if you didn't watch the game, what you might naturally think is, you might go, God, that's a smash and grab from Brentford. Lucky Brentford. And it's just not the case. They were well and truly beaten. They were well and truly done. And ultimately, Arsenal are now just looking so strong. I mean, getting Crystal Palace out of the way is big as well. Getting Palace out of the way is exactly what you need to do. But, you know, when you see the depth of Arsenal, like, you know, today when there were moments of concern, like, you know, when Saliba was taken off at half-time with that fitness issue, also, on some level, he was struggling with Mateta. Just wasn't going Saliba's way quite as well. And obviously, we saw Declan Rice get a knock. We saw Calafiori get a knock. Martinelli, at various points, didn't look great. And also, Saka was playing through illness. You know, those things under a previous time, that would have, like, derailed Arsenal, wouldn't it? We could have sat here and gone, oh, my God, Saliba was taken off. It all went wrong when Saliba was taken off. Suddenly you can't cope. Saliba goes off. Rice is injured. Calafiori struggling. Martinelli, Saka playing through illness. And what happens here? The depth means that they can cope. The depth means that they can get through it. The depth means that they will be okay. And, I mean, Eberechi Eze's goal today was just perfect. I mean, Crystal Palace must have seen that and expected that. But it really, really is massive from them. So the best thing that can happen to Arsenal now, and I really do mean this from an Arsenal perspective, you lose your next game. Being really serious here, you lose your next game. That is what needs to happen. Another super chat here has just landed. It's from the Age of Tetra, and it says, do you believe that there are any dark horses for the league? He's an Arsenal fan and he's asking about dark horses for the league. No, there are only two teams that are capable of winning the league. There are only two teams capable of winning the league. One of them is Arsenal. And the other one is Liverpool. And out of respect for the brilliance and history of Pep Guardiola, I'm going to not count them totally out of it. The brilliance and the respect that I have for Erling Haaland and Donnarumma, I'm not going to count them out of it. But I'm putting Arsenal on 50%. 50%, maybe more. 60%. I'm putting Liverpool on 30% and 10% to Man City. But it means that Arsenal are 60% favourites to win the league, at least. And there is nobody else that is capable of getting anywhere near that league. That is a fact. Can I ask you a massive favour? Would you please click subscribe? Please join this community. I love what we're building here. I love going live. I love having these chats with you. Got loads of content coming out this week. Got a video out tomorrow. Be going live as often as possible this week. So please do click subscribe. It's been a great live. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Did we hit the 1,000 likes? 100 short. Like the stream before you go. But I thoroughly, thoroughly appreciate everybody for tuning in. Have a wonderful night. Enjoy your Sunday. Ta-da.